House Speaker Kevin McCarthy is raising the possibility of an impeachment inquiry against President Biden. He made the remarks during an interview on Fox News last night while weighing in on the Republican-led investigations into the Biden family's business dealings.
When President Biden was running for office, he told the American public that he's never talked about business. He said his family has never received a dollar from China, which we now prove is not true. We've only followed where the information has taken us. But this is rising to the level of impeachment inquiry, which provides Congress the strongest power to get the rest of the knowledge and information needed. Because this president has also used something we have not seen since Richard Nixon, used the weaponization of government to benefit his family and deny Congress the ability to have the oversight. I believe we will follow this all the way to the end, and this is going to rise to an impeachment inquiry the way the Constitution tells us to do this, and we have to get the answers to these questions.
The White House spokesman for oversight and investigations, Ian Sams, later responded, writing, quote, "Instead of focusing on the real issues Americans want us to address, like continuing to lower inflation or create jobs, this is what the House GOP wants to prioritize. Their eagerness to go after the president, regardless of the truth, is seemingly bottomless." Jonathan Lemire, it strikes you listening to Speaker McCarthy there that other than that one phone call, private phone call on January 6, 2021, we have not heard that level of outrage, that depth of criticism from Kevin McCarthy about Donald Trump attempting to lead a coup against the United States government around the 2020 election, taking classified information about nuclear secrets and war plans back to Mar-a-Lago. He's held that for President Biden and his son.
Yeah, and let's fact check him right off the top. They haven't proven that there was any wrongdoing here, despite what he said last night. And the House GOP is kicking up whistleblower after whistleblower alleging wrongdoing, but have yet to provide any concrete evidence.
Did they ever find the fugitive guy, Lemire? Have they found him yet?
The guy with was it the guy with the one arm? Oh, no,
the arms dealer.
No, he's been missing. There's another guy who's, I believe, under indictment, in federal indictment because of his wrongdoings in this matter. And look, they had a couple members of the IRS came up last week and did testify that they felt like this should have been a matter that should have been prosecuted further about Hunter Biden. And then under oath, they also acknowledged that, well, actually, superiors disagree with us quite a bit. It's actually pretty common for it not to happen. So Eugene Robinson, people that I've talked to say that the House is hell-bent on some sort of impeachment. They think Attorney General Merrick Garland might be more likely candidate than President Biden, but certainly they're not ruling out the president. And I just... If they do go there for an impeachment inquiry for President Biden, I just ask you, like, where are we heading now? Are we in a moment where impeachment, which is supposed to be rare and almost sacred, is just being tossed around like another political ploy? Is every president going forward going to face some sort of impeachment inquiry?
Short answer, it looks like yes. I mean, it looks like that this is kind of the default position, and much of this Republican Party in the House, at least, it seems to believe or want to make people think they believe that the impeachments of President Trump were illegal, were totally political, and so they believe they have a constituency that wants to see them strike back in the same way at Joe Biden, and I think Kevin McCarthy is responding to that constituency. And so we may be in that situation that you described. We may be in a situation where impeachment just becomes kind of a phase of a presidency.
You know, Elise, there's a comic aspect to watching Kevin McCarthy speak like that. There's obviously a political aspect, but there's also a tragic aspect to it, in the sense that are we watching a democracy collapse in full public view, in plain view, with these people like Kevin McCarthy getting on talking about impeaching Joe Biden, rather than don't look over there, don't look at Donald Trump? And if any of them were asked, could you tell us how you feel about Peter Strager? They wouldn't know what I was talking about, or they wouldn't know the origin of that question. Peter Strager, who we just mentioned earlier in the news, a sentence of 4 years for beating a police officer at the request, basically there in the Capitol, of Donald J. Trump. They wouldn't know him. They don't care about him. And they don't care about the country, I would submit.
Well, I think there also would be confusion over what exactly will Biden be impeached over this go-round. His son's shady business dealings, how is that connected to his presidency? You can say it's untoward. You can say it really looks terrible. You can say it reeks of corruption, but if the president is not connected, how do you go forward with an impeachment? And I guess they're alleging that the IRS didn't go hard enough at the president's son. That just doesn't seem to rise to the level when think of how many 1%ers get away with so much every year from the IRS. It only furthers the argument we need more agents, and we should actually get taxes from people who should be paying taxes.
We should remind our viewers those former IRS agents that testified last week before the Oversight Committee raised their concerns to the Trump Justice Department, who didn't make much of them at all. And as we've said many times in the show, if Hunter Biden committed a crime, show the evidence, convict him if he's guilty, but they have not proven, as John points out, a connection yet to President Biden himself.